Welcome, everybody, to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. My name is Ross Benjamin, host of the show. And like every Tuesday, and it is a Tuesday, September the 5th, I'm joined by Mr. Jesse Shule and Mr. Sean Higgs, two of the finest handicappers you'll find anywhere, not only on the internet, not only in the country, but in the world. So, and our records speak for itself, and we're all documented by an independent source. So, when we tell you what our record is, with the exception of maybe a game or two being off because of a difference in lines of one site to another, they're pretty accurate, folks. So in any event, Jesse, how are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was up and down, but I got to tell you, I survived week one, and I feel really good about college football moving forward. I feel like I learned a lot. I didn't go backwards. I had a winning record, even though at some places it was just a minimal winning record. I'll take that every week, and yeah, just feel really excited about the rest of the season.
Sean, the home team 75-11 straight up in week one. What do you take from week one? What did you see?
I don't know. I guess we could beat Colorado to death. Like that's what everybody's been talking about.
Yeah,
Colorado game. How about the fact that and I had a 500 weekend and was back at it. Here we go. New week's here. The fact that I was looking at possibly like a lot of unders the way things were playing out, and yet the dust clears and it's overs at what, a 53%? Like you're making money on blindly going over the total when, initially your first week was like, oh my goodness, look at these unders. And we thought about that. Like, wow, look at, the way it is. And the first week zero kind of made it seem like, wow, this is going to be ridiculous. And then all of a sudden Oregon scores 81 in a game. And, you see 70s popping up between two teams. So that's par for the course. You learn, week one, you have your thoughts and ideas about teams and how you think they're going to perform, but you have a actionable eyesight on a team and how they played, and let's see how they do week two. Now this is the overreaction week. This is the overreaction week now. That team is terrible. This team is awesome. Here we go. It's going to be like next Sunday in the NFL. You're going to be like, oh my, Monday you're going to be like, that team, oh my goodness, I can't believe how terrible they are. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I love it.
How about Colorado going from an 8.5 point favorite 8.5 point underdog last week against Nebraska on some early lines that come out on some of the sports books, and now they're up to a 3-point favorite. And I don't know, guys. Is that an overreaction? I mean,
they opened at it opened at a 5. They were like a 7.5 a lot. I mean, I saw on the opening numbers.
Yeah, and
you can find those at like, they have some up for next week as well. You see some lines already for next week's football and stuff. It opened at 5, and listen, you can go from somebody who's betting that game took Colorado at a +7 or 7.5, and then is grabbing Nebraska +5. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you got 12 points of play in your hand, even at 3. I mean, overreaction. I say yes. I mean, like, right? Nebraska scored 10 points. They looked terrible, and you had another team put up 40+.
Yeah. I say maybe because Sims did get picked off 3 times. Colorado, their defense did not look good. They, like I said, TCU averaged 7.1 yards per carry. The fact that they threw the ball 42 times when they didn't really need to do that. And Nebraska's not going to do that. Nebraska's not going to come out there chucking the ball around the yard. They're going to pound away with the run. And if they're successful at that, it could be trouble for Colorado. But at the end of the day, 500 yards passing by Deion's boy. I've heard people say, well, TCU's defense was really bad. Look at how many points they gave up in their last 4 games. I heard that on the video with you and Doug. I want to point out TCU's last 4 games. Number 1 ranked Georgia, number 2 ranked Michigan, number 10 ranked Kansas State, and Colorado. How many points they gave up in those games, to me, is not all that. If Colorado is scoring around the same amount of points as those other teams, I got to say, this Colorado offense maybe is real. The defense is really bad. So
I mean,
you know,
86 new players. And boy, one thing he did very well is he stocked himself well in the transfer portal with very high skilled skill position players. And we saw it. I mean, they had 4 receivers go for 117 yards or more. And also Sanders' kid there, the quarterback. I don't want to mention his name because I might screw that up because there's 2 guys for Sanders playing. And God forbid that happens. Look at folks, you want to get caught up with names, play fantasy. All right. Yes, we should be accurate with our names here, but on occasion that's not going to happen because the sole focus for us is beating a number. Having said that, what impressed me the most, Sean, with Sanders, the quarterback, was how accurate he was. Even on the incompletions, the throws were right there. And they were either going to be in a spot where his receiver made a play or it wasn't going to be intercepted. So I was impressed with that. And then that running back they have, that the freshman running back was just terrific last week. And yeah, you make a good point, Jesse, with TCU and who they played in the last 4 games. But if you look at TCU last year, they gave up a lot of yards and a lot of points against relatively mediocre opposition on occasion. So, but your point is well taken. You know, it's Colorado put up a ton of points and a ton of yards in that game, and God bless them. But here's the thing I got to ask you guys. Nebraska, this team looked listless last week, even though they were in a position to win. And that was another disheartening loss for Nebraska. They had a 7-point lead with less than 3 minutes to go, and they lose a game in regulation time, not even overtime. How many times have we seen that the year before? Similar type scenarios. And they're playing against a team in Minnesota that's probably mediocre at best in the Big Ten this year. And now they're Colorado, who, let's put the opening line aside. Let's go with the opener this week and where the line is right now. Colorado, after beating a team like TCU, was in the national championship game last year and on the road and as a 20.5-point underdog. Now they're just a 3-point favorite. I want to say just a 3-point favorite because if you take all the other elements about opening lines from 2 weeks ago and all that kind of stuff aside, I just think that's a real fishy line. Jesse?
Well, Sean already said he thinks it's going to 5.5. So three looks like a good number if you like Colorado. If you like Colorado, get them now. And I'm not going to touch the side in this game.
Me neither.
I'm open to both arguments, but I'm not open to just writing off Colorado as a fraud at this point. You know, when I see a quarterback complete 80% of his passes, throw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, like you said, accurate throws. What was it? 4 wide receivers with 100+ yards,
117 plus, yeah.
So, I mean, that just doesn't happen by accident. That you got to sort of, I got to have a certain amount of respect for that. And sure, that's not going to happen every week, but that was week 1 on the road. I guess now Nebraska's got tape on that offense, and nobody had tape on what to expect. That could make a big difference, but it looks like Colorado's got the skill players to at least keep them in games. I still think their defense is trash and they can't stop the run, and that's going to cost them a few games. But their season win total was 3, and I think you got to put it at 5.5 now.
Yeah.
I mean,
no doubt. And you know, public perception in this game, I got to believe Colorado's going to be the heavily bet side here. So, and you know me, I don't like heavily bet sides. I either like the other side or I stay away from the game. Sean, real quick.
I'll keep it like about a minute because I can.
Yeah, well,
I like Deion. I've always liked Deion Sanders. You know, I mean, you got to love everything about the flair he brings and what he brings, and it's good. There's also so much hype around him there, but you got to kind of like it because all you've heard is Georgia, Alabama. Sometimes you sprinkle some USC in there, or you've just talked about the same teams for the last 5 or 6 years, right? So now there's like a new toy to play with for your kids at Christmas, and it's like, look at this. Good for him coming in and doing that. Colorado, for the football fans that base up there, they're pumped up. I don't know. I'm excited for him because I'm all about dynasties, whether it's in baseball, whatever. I want to see something be excellent, as good as it can be, and last forever. Let him be.
Let me stop you right there. The question was, and I appreciate your comments and your thoughts. The question was, do you find this to be a fishy line at just -3?
It's fishy just because they put up 40 something, the other team put up 10.
Yeah.
But the guys who make the lines, they're there for a reason. They kind of know a little more than everybody else.
Absolutely. And I'm not implying that the odds makers don't know what they're doing. I'm implying that people are going to think Colorado's a steal at -3 after what they just witnessed last week. And as well as I do, Sean, the general public has a very short memory.
People thought Clemson was a steal last night because Duke's terrible and Clemson's a ranked team. How'd that work out for them? 20-point losers outright.
Yeah.
The easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit, I joke about this all the time. Well, how'd that apple taste for Eve? She totally ruined it for the whole world. You don't grab it because it's right there. It doesn't mean it's a winner because it looks easy. I find the easiest things are the worst things.
Only Sean can make an Adam and Eve
It is. It's the low-hanging fruit. Seriously.
Football.
Ooh, let me grab this. It's right there. Yeah. Clemson, ranked team. Look at this. We're only giving 10. Duke, they don't play football. All right.
Let me know when you're done.
Okay, that's it. It was only a minute and a half. It was 10 minutes, so I'm still under by 2 minutes.
All right. We're going to be covering 3 college football games for Saturday. 3 good ones. Ole Miss at Tulane, I'll be covering. Sean will be looking at Texas at Alabama. And Jesse, Texas A&M and Miami of Florida. Before we get to that, folks, friendly reminder, our sponsor is Gamblers World. And there's 2 different sections to Gamblers World, gamblersworld.com, where you'll see all our videos, not only our show, but several other videos from other handicappers, including Jesse Shule. Possibly, from what I understand, you 2 guys are doing a live video. So maybe if it's maybe sometimes that will be up there as well. And also gamblersworld.com. That's where you'll find 10 of the finest handicappers anywhere in the country, including us 3 and 7 other great ones as well. Also, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, boy, oh boy, a lot of you have over the last month, and I can't tell you how all of us appreciate that. There's a WC button in the bottom right-hand corner of your video box. I should say logo. Just click on that. That'll get you subscribed. Best part about subscribing with us, it's absolutely free. There's no strings attached. There's no hidden agenda. If you're watching on a mobile device, there's a black subscribe button underneath your video box. Just simply click on that. And I'm going to ask you to do one step further, folks. Go into your YouTube settings and hit that notification alert bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. And you'll be notified immediately upon any of our Winner's Circle Sports Betting podcasts going up on our channel. All right, Jesse. Texas A&M and Miami of Florida. We discussed Miami of Florida at length. They look pretty good in their season opener. Texas A&M, the addition of Bobby Petrino as their offensive coordinator, early dividends have been paid, but a whole different opponent here for both teams, the caliber opponent they're facing. What do you got on this game?
Ross, I'm going to focus on the total, and I'm going to be specific and look at the first half number, under 24.5. I did have 3 totals this weekend. I talked a lot about the clock and the trend and the 12 of the first 18 games going under. And as we both know, the Saturday slate pretty much wiped out a lot of under bettors. But all the games that I bet on went under in the first half. And, I was not sharp enough to make sure that I got all those first half bets in. I know one of our viewers, a guy named Al Dohar, was sharp enough to listen to what I had to say, and he was able to cash in on those first half unders. But yeah, the way I look at it is that we saw some of those games that went over. You think about it, the Penn State game, they punched one in when they should have been kneeling. The Oregon State, San Jose State game, San Jose State throws a deep pass, threads the needle between 2 defenders, a meaningless touchdown with 4 seconds left on the clock. there was a lot of games, a lot of unders that died in the last seconds of games. And when we're talking first half, that's not happening. There's no incentive for these teams to rush or hurry up or try to catch up in the first half. And when we're talking about teams like Texas A&M and Miami, they both play a more of a pro style offense. They both evenly distribute the snaps between running plays and passing plays. We did see these two teams play last year. It was 17-9 for Texas A&M. It was 10-3 at halftime in that game. Of course, the Aggies have a new offensive coordinator, a new quarterback. Both teams are lights out defensively, though the Aggies were number one in the country in passing defense last year, and they bring back a ton of guys from that defense. And Miami has, future NFL players on their defense. So I don't see any quick scoring and easy points to be had in the first half of this game. I think what I look for is 5 to 10 minute drives, 5 to 7, 8 minute drives, and that clock ticks away. And we get to halftime, it's 20 to 21 points being scored. So we're going to take the under for the first half.
Under
24 and a half.
24 and a half. So the total on this game is 56. The under in the first half is 24 and a half, which is less than half the total. And to me, they don't put up a line like that. It's almost like they're begging you to take the over here in the first half based on just that. So very sharp play there from Jesse Shule. He likes Texas A&M and Miami of Florida to go under 24 and a half in the first half. Any thoughts, Sean?
I'm torn here because I'm a Kane guy, and I'd love to see a nice upset win here, right? You got a ranked team, a perceived SET much better, short kind of fave. I want to lean Canes, but I don't think I get involved in this game. I'll probably under would be my only kind of look here, which like Jesse said. I mean, it's a 20. It's what 24 you said, and the totals of 56, so it's less than half. Yeah. I mean, smart.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so we're going to look at Sean's game, which is I'm really interested to hear your take here, and Jesse's as well. Texas at Alabama. Alabama, a 7-point favorite at home. The total is 56. I'm not saying the line isn't justified, but it wakes you up and really alerts you when you see Alabama as just a touchdown favorite at home against anybody, Sean.
Yeah, and you still have a young quarterback for Alabama, and this guy's he's like from the neighborhood here. He's from Katy, which is around my neck of the woods down here. I'm going to look at the total here, though. Forget about the side because Saban versus opponent is ex-assistants. What, he's 28-2, and Jimbo got him and Kirby got him. I don't know. Sark, even when he was in the Pac-12, he just seems show me a big win. I'd love to see Texas win here, right? Go out of the Big 12 into the playoffs. Go out on top. But you still got a young quarterback in Quinn Ewers. And I saw them kick 3 field goals in the second quarter versus Rice the other day. I mean, you can't – they missed they went for a 4th and 1 in their own territory. Couldn't get 4th and 1. They couldn't get 4th and 2. Obviously, listen, Bryce Young, Bijan, 2 big stars from last year's 2019 game in the NFL. And now you have Quinn Ewers, who's shown great signs, right? I mean, Arch Manning, right? Everybody's like, oh, Arch Manning's going here. He's on the bench behind this kid. So obviously he's talented enough. I don't know, man. The Bama defense is always there. I think offenses always start a little slow. Even this kid put up 5 touchdowns. Milroe is his name. Limited action, like 13 of 18 for 3 passing. He went for 50 on the ground for 2 more. But you're playing Mid-Tennessee State. You're playing Rice. Listen, I kind of like Rice in their win total. They weren't going to beat Texas with JT Daniels. They'll beat other Rice-esque teams in conference play, not Texas. I think we see not a A&M Miami type of slow game here, but I think it's going to be a plotting kind of game. And I'm going to go under for the game. I'm not totally sold on Sark taking a team to a promised land. He hasn't done it anywhere before. I like better as a coordinator. I think he not strives. I'm trying to find the right word, or elevates himself as the head man. You see the records. He does not get there, and until he wins, it's tough to take a 7 here, even though it's Alabama not laying a double digits at home. I mean,
Yeah. Well, they played last year. The game was 20-19.
2019, 2 field
Yeah.
goals with 1:30 to go, back and
And
forth.
Texas really, realistically should have won the game.
They should have. They
Yeah.
crushed him on the ground with
Yeah.
Bijan, but that guy is gone.
Yeah.
That guy is gone.
So-
It's a different team. And granted, Bryce Young is gone, and other players are gone for Alabama.
Yeah.
That's
the
why
kid-
it's a 7 and not a 13 or a 12.
I'm reading a lot of rave reviews about the quarterback from Alabama. But remember, those numbers you rattled off, he got pulled early in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken, of a one-sided game.
It's
so
58-7 against Tennessee.
And your point is well taken. He's playing against a whole different caliber of competition. So Texas, Alabama under 56 for Sean Higgs. You know, Jesse, I stand corrected. That A&M and Miami, Florida total was 51, not 56, but still 24 and a half, less than half of the total. So again, I still contend that's a sharp play. But in any event, your take on this game, it's a good one, Bama and Texas.
It is a good one. It's the game of the week, and the viewers, they tune in to this show because they want us to give an opinion and they want to know who's going to win this game. But unfortunately for the viewers, Sean didn't have the cojones to give a play on the side in this game. And I got to tell everybody that I'll tell you what, I got more than just a side. It's my non-conference game of the year. And if you go to gamblersworld.net, you can get my play on the side. What we're going to talk about right now on this show, though, under, I agree with Sean, but first half under for all the reasons I listed previously with the trends and the lack of urgency to catch up in the first half of games compared to the end of the games, and a lot of those overs coming late in the final seconds, and the history between these two teams, like Ross alluded to, 20-19 last year, and it was 10-10 at halftime. So I expect, like I said, grinding out, slow possessions, two teams that are excellent defensively, and that's, I'll just leave it at that.
You know me, another fishy line here. Alabama, with their, obviously one of the best programs, if not the best program over the last 2 decades in college football. I don't think many would dispute that. And they're only laying 7 at home. And I got to go into my database to find out when was the last time Alabama was such a short favorite at home. And short, when I say short, normally I don't refer to -7 as short, but by their standards, -7 is short.
It's got to be versus Georgia. It's got to be versus Georgia or something.
Yeah, I'd have to look, but I think we can all agree it's, if indeed there's been smaller lines, they're very isolated situations and very rare.
Florida State, when they had Jameis Winston, I think there was a big game between Alabama and Florida State. We've been around that line.
Quite possibly, yes. So, all right, let me get to my game, and that's Ole Miss and Tulane. Ole Miss right now is a 7-point road favorite. The total in this game is 64. Both of these teams coming off impressive performances last week. Ole Miss 73-7 versus an FCS team in Mercer. Gaudy offensive numbers, 667 total yards, 524 in the air. Boy, oh boy, you look at their 2 quarterbacks, Jackson Dart and also the kid who came over from Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders. And they put up some huge numbers in that game. Tulane, to me, might have been more impressive. And I say that only because of the opponent they played compared to who Ole Miss faced last week. 37-17 win over South Alabama. They outgained them 436-265. Now, they lost at Ole Miss 2 years ago, 61-21. But that was a Tulane team that was 2-10. Last year, they were 12-2. Off to a 1-0 start this year, so 13-2 since last year. And that includes 3-0 straight up in ATS as an underdog since last year. Remember, folks, this is a team that won at Kansas State and also beat USC in a bowl game on New Year's Day last year. In terms of their ATS record. This is a team also in Tulane that's covered 15 of their last 18 games with current head coach Willie Fritz. They also they forced 5 turnovers last week against South Alabama. And, when I say the difference in competition, that was a South Alabama team they faced last week that went 10-3 last year and returned 18 starters. They were only a 6.5-point favorite in that game, and they dominated it, even though they lost several players to the NFL from last year's team. And of course, I'm going to have a college football betting angle for you here. Anytime you have a non-conference home underdog of 8.5 or less, like Tulane is, and they're coming off a non-conference home favorite win, or ATS win, 35-19 against the spread since 84. And they won 30 of those 54 games straight up. So I'm going to take Tulane here. Small lean, folks. It's not going to be on my premium plays, but a small lean here on the Tulane Green Wave plus a 7 Ole Miss. I'm not going to go out on a limb and call for an outright upset, but I think this game goes right down to the final possession in the final minutes before it's decided. So I'm going to take the Green Wave plus the 7. Sean?
Yeah, I would tend to agree there. You have I know they're ranked, right? But they're still the little brother kind of team in conference here in this matchup. And you're getting a touchdown. I lean that way as well. Ole Miss, you mentioned Sanders. The guy was pretty good for Oklahoma State. He comes in here to be a backup.
He's a backup. Yeah.
Let's say you had 2 QBs. You don't have any. I don't know what the game plan is over there. And with that kind of,
they're going to have to force turnovers like they did last week. And
Tulane, and listen, they took care of a team. I think South Alabama, from what I saw, like around the sites and stuff, they were a pretty trendy.
All the guys on Wager Talk had South Alabama.
I did as well. So
that's a team that's supposed to be pretty good, like a smaller school. Like, hey, I'm getting points here; it's worth a shot. Tulane has obviously a bigger game on deck. They got Mississippi. Maybe they're looking ahead. But I'll lean with the dog there. It's a good spot,
Jesse?
Well, you got to know I took a look at the first half total, and for this game it's 30.5. I'm going under that, but I also I'm with you guys both. I like the home dog. I would take them in the first half though, just in case things sort of get out of hand. These wild finishes in week 1 kind of stress me out. So I'm looking at everything I'm looking at this week is first half.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin's going to attack. And Tulane's going. I would say this, folks. Tulane has to win the turnover battle to stay in this game.
Yeah.
Because that's an explosive offense from Ole Miss. Yes, it could be a little misleading. They faced a FCS opponent last week, but talent is talent. Like Sean just mentioned, Spencer Sanders, who was a 3-year starter at Oklahoma State, now is the backup quarterback at Ole Miss. So it tells you about the depth of their quarterback room there, and it showed in the numbers. But Tulane is just a program that's shown a lot of grit since last year, and I like Willie Fritz as a coach. But again, folks, Tulane plus the 7 over Ole Miss, and it's a small lean on my part. Jesse likes the A&M and Miami of Florida game to go under the total of 24.5 in the first half. Sean likes the Texas-Alabama game to go under 56 for the full game. So there you have it. If you were with us last week, we put out 3 videos. 2 to 3 videos were 3-0 sweeps, and the other one went 0-3. So I'm sure some of you will focus on that. But would you not take 6-3 every week, every day, any day? All right. So Jesse, tell the folks a little bit about what you got coming up this week. Any streaks or whatever promo you want to share with us.
All right. Well, I got a couple NFL plays for Sunday. As I already mentioned, I got my non-conference game of the year on the Texas-Alabama game. And I did start the NFL season a perfect 10-0 last year. So feeling the pressure here to do it again this year. And I did win in week 1 with college football. Modest wins, but like Ross said, we'll take any kind of wins every week, every day, anytime.
That's right, Jesse. It's all about beating the number with us, folks. It's not about we're loyal fans of one team. It's not about pronouncing names correctly, even though we should be. It's about beating the number. That's our number one goal. Sean.
Kansas. Listen, I'll never pronounce the names right. I still call them the San Diego Chargers and the Washington Redskins. That's just, it's in my brain. I can't change it. Excited. NFL. What's there to say? I don't know. Jesse tweeted at me this morning, really put the extra pressure on me. I had a great NFL season last year. He thinks 10-0 is tough to fill up his shoes. I got a whole lot to fill up after last year's NFL. I'm excited about NFL. I had a 500 weekend of college football. I'm a grinder anyway. I did that last year, and I ended up hitting 56% for the month of September. We're on our way to having a good month there. But it'll be all about NFL, Ross, at Gamblers World. I'll have a game up for Thursday, Sunday. There'll be a 3-pack. There'll be plays posted. They're posted already. I just haven't added a package. So if you buy a subscription, you're going to get like 10 plays right out of the gate. You'll be like, wow, there's plays in here, even though there's not a package up. I usually put the package up on Tuesday or Wednesday ahead of the, in the week, not that early. As much as I put my plays out early, I don't put the package up till later in because sometimes if the lines really change a lot for me, I don't put it up because that's not fair to do. I can't put it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a subscription plan for Sean, keep in mind, folks, this guy gave over 207 exactly 207 plays in the NFL regular season last year. Hit 64% of those plays. Do the math. That will make you a ton of money. You can get his NFL package for the season. You can get his NFL and college football package combined. You can get his college football package as well right over there at gamblersworld.net. And that also is true with Jesse Shule, who rattled off some impressive September numbers in both college football and NFL, folks. So, and that's not only over the last year, over the last 2 years, Jesse, or just over the last year?
Basically my all-time numbers, like going back over a decade with college football, are in the high 50 percentiles and top 10 in sports capping all time. So I mean,
but I'm talking about your good starts in September.
Good starts, yeah. I think it's about two years running now. The
10 and
sort of amazing starts, the ones that you can't forget, right?
Yeah,
the 10-0s, 5-0s, 7-0s, all those ones here.
I know I've been good in September in the NFL regular season. And how good? Well, I did the research yesterday because all three of us are on sports capping, and they do a fabulous job of us being able to do a date parameter search on a specific sport. So my NFL since 2010, as documented by that independent source, 79-35, folks. That's good for 65%. That, and any of you want to question that, I'd be more than willing to email you all those results right from their database. So 79-35 in the month of September in the NFL since 2010. College football last week, I went 3-2. Not great, but we'll take it, and made a profit. In Major League Baseball, lost the last 2 days, but still about around 61% since August 4th, over 30 days now. So you can get all my picks at gamblersworld.net, as well as Jesse and Sean's. And you get our guarantee, folks, that if you do not make a profit, whether it be a single game or multi-game daily package or any subscription plan of 30 days or less, you get our personal guarantee that we will refund your money the exact amount of your purchase. Not refund, excuse me, credit your account the exact amount of your purchase price. So it doesn't get any better than that. Not only 10 great handicappers, folks, but also that personal guarantee. So again, folks, I don't know what you're waiting for. Tentative find us, you'll find anywhere at gamblersworld.net. There's a like button right underneath the video box. And Jesse, what do you want us to do with that like button?
I want everybody to remember every time, smash that like button.
Wow. Gotta take the speakers off.
All right. So smash that like button, says Jesse Shule. Just a small token of your appreciation for the work that we do, the preparation time we put in, and our unwavering ability and also goal to make you a smarter sports bettor, excuse me, today than you were yesterday. Until the next time, which will be tomorrow morning with these two gentlemen. And later this afternoon, I will be on with Chip Chirimbus and Paul Bovey. We'll be talking NFL. Jesse Shule and Sean Higgs in the morning tomorrow. More college football for Jesse Shule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin. I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.